Hello, wildlings. I'm your Creepsmith, and you found my Fear Forge. Lucky you. Tonight's simple story. A family is saved by a malfunctioning alarm system. I know the rules on this site are pretty relaxed, but I swear this story is true. I worked as a reporter for a newspaper in a small town about 17 years ago, for the most part covering Rotary dinners and town council meetings, boring stuff. Every once in a while, there would be a little excitement, a car accident usually. But for the most part, it was one hell of a humdrum year. Until the night a train hit a gravel truck. I was at my home, in my living room around 7:30 one evening when I heard a tremendous boom from outside. Being Johnny Reporter on the spot, I grabbed my camera bag and headed out to see what had happened. It didn't take too long to find out that a train had hit a double hopper truck at the main intersection in town. The truck had tried to beat the train and lost. The driver managed to get the truck itself and the first hopper unit that it was hauling off the crossing in time, but the train sheared that second hopper right off. It landed in the parking lot of a large building that housed a truck stop and an auction market about 50 yards away. No one was hurt, so I snapped a few pictures, talked to the fire chief. I wanted to get a shot of the hopper itself in the parking lot, but it was way too dark for a decent photo by that point, so I went home. Next day, things got weird. I went back to the auction market in the morning for a photo, and the couple that runs the place were there. I chatted with them, but I didn't really expect to do an interview since I assumed that they hadn't been there when the accident happened. Turns out, not only were they there, they had one hell of a story to tell. The accident had happened on a Wednesday, which was one of their normal auction nights. But for some reason, I can't remember what, it was a while ago, they ended up canceling. The husband pointed out that the auctions always ended at 7:15 p.m. and it took him about 15 minutes more to finish up the paperwork. If there had been a scheduled auction that night, there would have been people standing around right when that hopper came flying through the air and landed in the parking lot. Wow, I said. That's a pretty amazing coincidence. Then they told me that wasn't the creepy part. They themselves had been at the auction market that night with their 3-year-old son, working on a few things and taking advantage of the fact that the place was empty. They were about ready to leave at 7:25, but the husband couldn't get the security code to work on the alarm panel. Every time he tried to enter it, the trouble light came on. It doesn't actually say trouble light on the panel. It's just a red light that the manual refers to as a trouble light, which indicates that you've screwed up somehow. He tried 4 or 5 times, each time ending up with that light flashing at him and scratching his head. They were still inside the building at this point and could hear the train. The wife said she remembered their son looking out the window and saying, "Twain, Twain." Then they heard the boom as the train hit the truck and actually saw the hopper land in the parking lot. They rushed outside and called 911. They stayed in the lot until the emergency people got there, then told them what they'd seen. They were hugely relieved that there hadn't been an auction that night because there could have been a real tragedy. Then it occurred to them. If they hadn't been screwing around with their alarm system, they themselves could have been in that parking lot when that hopper landed. The delay more than likely had saved all 3 of their lives. Shakily, they walked back into the building to take another shot at closing up for the night and going home. When they got back inside, the trouble light had stopped flashing. The system was working normally again. I've talked to them again over the years, and they say that trouble light has never come on since that night, not once. They both told me that they had never believed in anything supernatural before, weren't religious, never really thought about a higher power, but they were believers now. So was I, and I have been ever since. So there you go, wildlings. Not all tales of the supernatural are creepy or horrific. But at the same time, it's gotta get under your skin a little thinking that there's actually something watching over you all the damn time. Stay scary, my wildlings, and make the most of your nights.